Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wired Nerdy Podcast, episode number 21. Oh, man, Doug. How you doing? Everybody out there, this is Keith. This is Doug. We're episode 21, Doug. That means we're legally able to drink now.
Hey, yeah, we're doing good. Yeah,
Age-wise.
21 episodes. The weather's hot, so I'm kind of glad we're inside doing this podcast today.
That's right. It is kind of toasty, but we are very fortunate to have some air conditioner and be indoors. So hope everybody's doing really, really well. So we have got some awesome nerd news today. And then, of course, we're going to get into one of the big events that I know I and Doug oftentimes look forward to is coming up, and that is the Steam Summer Sale. And we're going to
Absolutely
talk about that and see what else we're going to get into here. So let's go ahead and cue up the news.
Nerd News.
And Doug, you can go first.
All right, we're kicking it old school today with Furbies. Did you ever have a Furby?
I did. I actually did.
Oh man,
Yeah.
like all kinds of colors, or just one of them?
It was. I just had one. No, I didn't. They were kind of. I don't remember them being expensive. Maybe they were, but either way, no. There was only one, and I think it was gifted to me. Yeah, I can't even remember how I got it, but I know it sat in my office at work, and it was creepy. It was weird. It would, for those of you that don't know, it was like a little robotic fur ball that you could talk to if you pushed its tongue. That's how you fed it. It was one of the first signs of like, something actually having some sort of interaction, a robotic type thing that had an interaction. They were banned. Fun fact. My wife and I were talking about this recently. They were banned in federal government agencies because they had a recording device on them, and they would record what you say. They could repeat things back. And this was circa early 2000s, if I remember correctly, late 90s, circa, I think it was early 2000s. And so, yeah, there was a lot of controversy with them. They're kind of creepy looking. I did have one. And so did you ever own one?
My sister had one, and I actually texted her about it. Said, "Hey, we're going to talk about Furbies this week. Did you have one? I think you did." And she said she did. They gave her nightmares because they started learning her language and talking back to her. And I'm sure
she's
me and
100%
my
right.
brother put some bad words in its mouth, because it would start learning words.
It would. It could learn words, and they even had its own like language. It sounded like gibberish.
Yeah.
If you put two of them together, they could have a conversation,
which is creepy.
And it was gibberish, of course.
Yeah.
But no, they were creepy back then. So why are you bringing up these nightmares for your sister again?
Yeah, so they are bringing them back. This is a hot 90s toy. They're bringing it back for its 25th birthday. I'm looking, they've kind of got some cool mohawks and ears. I remember that. The colors now look brighter. The plastics look better. 25 years, technology's improved. I'm sure it'll be a hit because it seems like stuff from our day keeps coming back as remastered and classic and for the newer generation. So this is another example of that.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to integrate ChatGPT into it.
Oh, can you imagine the conversations you'd have?
So scary.
Now someone will mod it to do that.
Tell it about you. Well, I know what you're getting your sister for Christmas.
Absolutely, I'm getting her a Furby, but the price. Now I don't know if you remember what you paid.
I don't.
It's $70.
See, I thought they were expensive back in the day. That's why I only had one.
But I guess it is like a smart talking pet
like
or something.
Computer.
So it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
So
wow, and they're still creepy looking. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the things. We'll make sure we have an image up, but I'm still curious about what else people are going to be able to do with them. And plus now, the modding community, people mod things out. I can only imagine what people will try to do with these things. If they don't launch with some type of ChatGPT, I bet somebody will try to recode them and do it. So I think it'll be interesting to see what people do to them. It's from a mod standpoint. I think that'll be fascinating.
Absolutely. So for our adult audience and don't have any kids around, but there is a hilarious bit that was on Bob and Tom, and I can try to find it on YouTube. But like Tom Mabe or one of those prank callers calls into a Walmart or something and says he has his demonic Furby, and it's just the most hilarious thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So if you all haven't listened
Check
to that,
that
I would
out.
definitely recommend Demonic Furby prank call on YouTube. It's amazing.
See if I can find it and put it in the show notes. I've not seen that one,
Absolutely.
so that's awesome. Well, man, you got us
Uh,
off to a good start here. So
yeah.
I'm gonna get to the next one, which is it's just weird. It is within the tech space, which is nerdy, but just it's a sign of the times of which we live in. Not only artificial is concerning, but this is something where two billionaires, very notably, Elon Musk of Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter fame, and Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook Meta fame, ended up agreeing to a cage fight match after they had an argument over the word same. So, for the background on this, is that Meta, Facebook, is working on a competition platform to Twitter, and some way somehow word got back to um, Elon that one of his senior staff members, one of Mark Zuckerberg's senior staff members, said something like, well, at least our platform will be ran by someone who's sane. And of course, what did he do? He went straight to Twitter and
Oh yeah.
made a comment, and then Zuckerberg took a screenshot of it and put it on Facebook Meta, and and it just blew up. And
Yeah.
then uh, somehow they were exchanging these quips back and forth. And keep in mind, they're competitors in way of their platform space, and they essentially agreed to a cage fight match. Now, a couple things to be noted here: Elon Musk is older. Now, I don't know if they're really going to do this. We'll get to that in a moment. But Mark Zuckerberg is actually been he's a health nut, and he's actually been into jujitsu, and he just
Oh
won some tournaments in California. Now, whether or not it
yeah.
was one of them things where people just like, kind of they just laid down for him because he's a billionaire and he paid for it, I don't know. But dude, what is going on with the world? What is wrong? If I had $1 billion, I would care less what anybody said about anybody. The um, it's a weird time we live in. It's like a movie. It's so
Oh,
weird.
absolutely. Yeah. So if this does happen, I've got some thoughts here, and
Hmm.
they can take this. I would like to see like WWF Hell in a Cell. Put them in that cage,
I
get
like
them
where your
going.
head's at.
I like to see them do a ladder match, with the
Yeah,
belt or with
there you
the
go.
keyboard hanging down, kind of
I like
grabbing the
it.
keyboard and the mouse.
Oh, hey,
Um,
boy, wow, you're firing on all the
I am
creative
thinking
cylinders.
today.
I
And
like
then
it.
the last thing we have to have is celebrities. You know how you have a WWF match and then the music starts and celebrities come out. I want to see Tom Anderson. Now, does that name ring a bell to
It
you?
does not, Tom Anderson.
MySpace. I want to see my
What?
buddy Tom from MySpace come down the ramp.
You could have like all these old school Bill
I
Gates
was typing as
interrupts.
you were doing this story. I'm
Oh
like,
my god.
I've got some ideas. Yeah.
You could have Bill Gates interrupt, and then like they could loosen the keys. You know how they do chair shots on the WWE? Loosen the keys so that
Yeah.
when they hit him on the head, the keys go everywhere.
You know how cool that would look in slow motion? Like
I know. I
an
know.
F and a U is just like floating. Okay, I'm getting crazy here.
It'd
Sorry.
be even funnier if they had the referee wear like, Stone Cold Steve Austin, like somebody
Or
who's
a
like,
Best Buy shirt or something? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You could just like theme it up. Then you could have a tag team match with
Oh,
like
man.
the Geek Squad. No, I'm sorry, we're just going. Okay, I think we're
Okay,
recording.
we'll get back on track,
We're
yeah.
recording in the morning. I think what we both
Yeah.
need more
Well,
coffee,
we
and
need
we're
to keep recording at night like we've been doing, yeah.
which is slap happy in the morning. Anyway,
Oh,
it's a weird
yeah.
story. I had to include it because it's so odd. So anyway, we can move on.
Eh,
What else do we have?
yeah, man, where do we go from here? No, let's go to violence.
Oh,
So it looks
perfect.
like, video games actually lower violence, and I've seen this before, this, statistic, but I'm glad that you shared this with me. There's a tweet, and I'm not a Twitter guy. So there's a tweet showing that Grand Theft Auto games, when they release, it actually lowers violence. You would think that such a violent game brings out, but they're all busy playing the game and leveling up and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a
There's
it's
a
an
really,
actual it's an actual report that they put on Twitter. Just so you know, Doug, since you're not familiar with it,
yeah.
it's from the European Journal of Criminology. It's an actual
Oh, okay.
research paper. It's like legit. It's they looked at data and they put charts, and it's a whole summary of all the data that they have, and that's what they posted on Twitter. Was basically what the summary
Yeah.
was based off the data they saw, just for a frame of reference.
No, no, that's I'm not familiar with Twitter. I don't know about the check marks and stuff, but now that I'm reading some of the story, it's a legitimate research firm or research company doing good hard studies. It looks like they're citing sources, so It's just crazy to think that such a violent game lowers violence in the real world.
Yeah, and I think the article goes on about um, the reasons why, the sociology behind it, not just the psychosociology, because it's a group study, and the fact that what they're saying is that oftentimes, especially violent video games, especially Grand Theft Auto, has
Yeah.
gotten a rap in media, saying that it's associated with violence because it allows people who may not think of violence to be encouraged to do so. But what the study shows is actually the opposite, in that they
Mhm.
showed, and it was a combination of they showed data for when a game is released. They looked at crime statistics and how many days after that it just
Yeah.
drops like a rock. And they
Yeah.
said it's not just with Grand Theft Auto. Call of Duty was included, first person shooters. Those
Yep.
shooters and things that often get a rap, they're showing that actually it reduces crime. Every time there's a new release of a very popular title, most of them considered violent in nature, there's a drastic reduction. Now, a lot of people are like, well, they could say that just the initial release, you're getting people home and engaged, kind of like with film releases, but then over
Yeah.
time it's going to peak and increase. But the study actually goes on to point out that they they traced it, beyond the release date, and there
Mm.
is a sustained plateau, and it is a very long time after before they start seeing spikes, and usually it's associated with other things that's going on that do not seem to be related to the media that's consumed or that has been released without into the public. So
Yeah.
it's a fascinating read just because it is counter to what oftentimes is said, and I'm sure people will be tearing into this, trying to figure out the why and that sort of thing. But that's what the data shows, and they looked at data not just in the Netherlands, but all over the
Mhm.
globe. So it's a big report. So it's pretty cool. Now you are in law enforcement, and what this reminds me of is there are trends that are known, they're factual, based on data.
Yeah.
Like for example, is crime higher when it's hot outside? That's like a
Yeah.
thing that I was heard growing up. Is that true?
It is. And not to make a joke or anything about law enforcement, but we always found that holidays when people get together, more domestics, more fights because you're cooped up. Wintertime, more domestics. It's cold outside. You're stuck in the house with people you may not like.
So more
So,
domestic incidents happen
yeah.
with family time. Go figure. Yeah, makes sense.
And then the heat, I think, is related to alcohol and being out all night. And you probably need to go on the air conditioning and listen
Ag-
to a podcast and relax.
there you
Yeah,
go. So people are agitated, probably is the idea, because
absolutely.
heat agitates. So
Yeah.
so yeah. So that we do know that there are
Mhm.
factors that influence. So I thought it was a really cool release that
Yeah.
they had, and just something you don't typically hear about.
No, I'm reading this. I'm glad you shared this. So we actually had to deal with Pokemon Go when it first came out.
Oh
As
yeah.
a cop, I had to deal with it.
Well,
We
first explain
had
what is Pokemon Go.
uh, so I've played it once or twice. Pokemon Go is a mobile app on your phone that you actually have to walk. But I think before they did some updates, you could slowly drive to
Oh,
hatch these Pokemon. I don't know if they
you're
were in
catching
eggs
them.
or the Pokemon shells. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had a big problem in my jurisdiction before of people slowly driving through the parks, thank God, or driving slowly on the street.
And on their phone,
The
doing both.
Yep. And
Jeez, I
we
didn't
had
know
to put
about
out
that.
a notice, hey, you're gonna have to get out and walk, get a little exercise. You can't be driving slow down the street
Yeah, and
playing your
so
Pokemon.
and just to add a little color to that, the way that it works is that it's tied to GPS, and what they do,
Mm,
they randomize monster drops or Pokemon drops, and the goal is you collect them. And so if you know that there's a rare uh, Pokemon monster that's in a certain area, like an actual geolocation area, you would go there. If you walk there, drove there, whatever, and then whipped your phone out and turned on the game, it would see that you're in that location, and you would scan around until you see it, and then you had to like play this little thing to tap it to capture it.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
it was encouraged in that. You're right, it did help like get people out, kids out especially, into the outdoors and all that. And it was
yeah.
huge for a while. I had no clue that there was an issue with driving though. I didn't know people were doing that.
Yeah, the worst I saw in our town was a guy had, no joke, 6 phones on his dashboard, and
Are
he
you
was
kidding
flicking them
me?
all, like, catching them all. Yep. Mhm. It was wild. And then, shout out
uh,
to my
that's awesome.
theater manager buddy. Every time the theater closed, my
The movie
manager
theater.
buddy would go, into the park. I said, "Hey, come on, you gotta get out of here." go to that theater and walk around. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. But that's not where the
So
good Pokemon are, Doug.
no, back to this story. I like that it says this paper estimates that distracted Pokemon Go players led to 145,000 car crashes,
Whoa.
including 30,000 people injured, killing 256. That's terrible to think about.
I did not read
Uh,
that. That's
yeah.
crazy. Wow. Wow.
I think the study was in Indiana, if I'm reading right.
Mhm.
The average kind of went from 5.2 million in accidents to 25.5 million in
Whoa.
148 days
Whoa.
following the release of the game.
Wow. I had no clue. I knew that game
Uh,
was huge, but I
It
had
blew
no
up. I knew it was huge. Yeah.
well, I had no idea that it had impacted um, had that negative of an impact. I didn't think about it
Yeah.
being merged with you know, driving. Wow. Man,
Yeah.
see? Learn it. That's why I love this podcast,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I learn cool
Yeah. You
stuff.
showed me some. I'm looking on Twitter and learn all kinds of stuff.
I like it, man. All right. Well, let's get off the violence kick.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get something a little happier. Let's go to skins on phones. Do you have a skin on your phone?
I
Or I know you
actually
have a skin on your Steam
I
Deck, right?
do. I have a skin on the old Steam Deck here. We talked about that
Oh,
before.
classic PlayStation. Love
Yeah,
it.
and so if I held it up, by the way, for those audience members, and then on the old iPad here, I'm holding up my iPad. This is the skin
Oh, no, that's awesome.
that I.
I'm describing it as kind of a cracked fire and brimstone, or
That's
you can
right.
explain it better. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you right on. It looks like
Awesome.
a bunch of cracks with like maybe lava or something coming through. And then I have on my I went old school for I would wrap on my smart Apple keyboard here, and it just has an
Oh, I
old
like
school
that.
'80s Apple logo.
Classic. Yeah.
And so yeah, I
Very
really got
nice.
into. I used to never be a rap person.
Hmm.
But a friend of mine named Deepak, shout out to Deepak, he wrapped everything. His phone, like now he was one,
Yeah.
like he would not have a phone case. And I can't do that. I got to have something on my phone just
Yeah.
because I'm kind of paranoid like that.
I get nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's a lot of money, right? We talked about this before, but
Yeah.
he would wrap his phones and they always look so gorgeous. And at one point I asked him about it and then we just got to kind of talking. He would even wrap his little AirPods.
Oh, man.
He said that
Yeah.
was probably the hardest wrapping that he had ever done because of all the corners and everything. And I remember when we had Brian on, that's why we were asking about wrapping those arcades. And he said, well, it's a larger, area of space or real estate area. So it's a little bit easier when you do corners. There's little tricks and stuff you got to do. So there's an art to it. But I got into doing it because, especially with my iPad, it started with that. I didn't want to put my iPad in a case to bulk it up because I take it everywhere. I want it to be as thin as possible. And I'm using an iPad Pro Air
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's super thin. Every case I felt like just kind of bolted up, and I didn't want to bulk it up, so I did an actual skin on it just to keep the scratches down and that sort of thing, and I loved it. So after that, I kind of went crazy with it, and now I really like wrapping things. So it doesn't add
Yeah.
much protection, I will fully admit it, but it can, if you don't like the way something looks, you can just change it. Kind of like people that are like wrapping their cars now. If you want your car to be black, you don't have to
Yeah.
go get it painted anymore. You can actually get it wrapped, which is even cheaper than painting. So yes, I'm in the long answer to a very
Oh,
short
yeah.
question. Apologize for that. Yes, I wrap things,
No,
and
you're
it's
good.
really cool because you can switch it up.
So I asked that because I'm rocking my Pixel. I love Google,
Mhm.
but I just have an OtterBox.
Yep,
It adds a lot of bulk to it.
great
But I
protection,
worry about
but a
a
lot of bulk.
skin slippery. I'm always
No,
pulling my phone out of
it's the
cargo
opposite.
pockets. Yeah.
It's the opposite. If you look at this iPad, there that you
Yeah.
can't see it on the camera here, but the texture is actually grip texture. It is
Oh,
better, and I love that about it. Now, I will admit I don't have my phone wrapped because I do take that in and out of
oh,
my pocket a lot. If I did though, I would go with one of these.
okay.
It's not. They do have slick gloss ones, but I always go with a matte finish. If you go with a matte finish, it
I want
actually
something that's got a little friction. Yeah.
and when I'm holding it like this, it really grips well. So no,
Hmm.
it can help with your grip if you're pulling it out of your. Now you
Oh,
drop it.
perfect.
th- th-
Yeah.
Obviously, you want the OtterBox, but
Yeah.
you know, like this though, no, it actually has grip texturing in it, so
Oh,
you don't have
really?
to worry about that. And the biggest
All
brands,
right.
by the way, are which I know you're going to lead into. D
Yep.
brand is probably considered the biggest one. I've used a couple of theirs. Otherwise, I've used a place they're out of the UK called Slick Skins,
I've heard of them.
and
Yep. They've been around for quite a while, haven't they?
they have. It takes a long time to mail to you because it's mailing from England. but
All the customs and stuff. Yeah.
well, in the iPad I showed you, I really like that design. Dbrand's really good about they don't have like bold designs. A lot of them are very muted. It's very like they'll have
Mhm.
carbon fiber with a color, which is all it's awesome. But I wanted like an actual pattern, something like a picture on it. When I went to go do my Steam Deck, I really wanted a retro PlayStation 1 look to it.
I'm
Couldn't
liking
find
that.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, there's one place I found it called Lux, Lux, and they have branded pictures and that sort of. So those are the players in the market, and there's more out there. There's more than that. Like Easy Skins is one I've used. There's a lot of them.
Mhm.
So I only mention that because I know you're leading up to what the actual news article is here. We kind of went on a tangent.
No, no, you're good. I like learning about all those others because Razer, which a company I've heavily invested in the last just like 2 or 3 years, is going after skins. I've got a Razer mouse in front of me, a Razer keyboard, Razer charging stuff. So I've looked at Razer computers, a little out of my price range, but the build quality and the internals look amazing. So back to my story, we tangent again, but they are releasing skins. Now they don't have a lot of designs, but if they offer some competition to dbrand, that might be good. That'll make dbrand innovate and make some more designs and just healthy competition. I always like I've said multiple times on different podcasts, when these companies kind of do the same thing, it's better for the consumer.
Totally agree. And I agree. Razer, they make some cool stuff. Now, some people hate on Razer. They think that they're overpriced and the quality is not as good. I've always enjoyed and had good luck with their products. I'm using a
Yeah.
Razer mouse and keyboard. Both are wireless. Their wireless gaming mouse is unparalleled because typically you don't want to do wired. You want to do wired with gaming, not wireless, because of the latency. But they have proprietary protocols that actually makes it to where the wireless mouse is it's close to a wired, and it's really nice. So they've got great products, and I've also enjoyed looking at their computers. I've never owned one, but they are beautiful, and they do a great
Yeah.
job with all their designs. What's really cool in looking at the article is that they know that they're going to have stuff for Steam Deck, they're going to have stuff for phones, they're going to have stuff for all kinds of laptops.
Hmm.
Obviously gaming consoles, things like that. I think it would be cool on their products if they would like sell them pre-skinned. I think that'd be kind of neat
Oh,
because I'm not
that
gonna
would be
lie,
really cool.
it's kind of nerve wracking. You drop $20 on a skin and you're trying to put it
Yeah.
on there. Like it's so funny when I've ever wrapped mine. I literally would put on like some call music, like Inya or something, and just kind of like had to be chill when I put it on.
Yes.
Yes, and this is like because it is you're trying to get everything just right, and you don't want to mess it up because
Yeah.
you drop $20 on it, man. You don't want to, you
Oh,
don't want to
absolutely.
screw it up. So
The problem I have is I need almost a clean room because I have cats, I have a dog. So
tell me about
getting
it.
the hair in there, it's like, no, it ruins the whole thing.
Yeah. Well,
So I have
we
to
have a
go
bunch
to
of
a
cats
clean
too.
environment.
Yeah. Well, we have cats too. I will say for the skins, it's not as big of a deal because obviously they're not see through. So you don't have to
No.
worry about it quite as much. It's the stinking screen protectors. Oh my goodness. Don't
Yeah.
get me started on that. Like they're so hard to put on in my house. It gives me anxiety, but I got to have them. So I don't put one on my phone, but I baby my phone and I
Yeah.
don't go a lot of places, usually from my work. So I can afford to do that. But no, man, I'm glad they're doing this. I think it's great. My last note I will say about Razer, I once had the opportunity. It was the first time I had ever visited San Francisco for a technology conference. I was just walking along, and it was one of them situations where they had a Razer store inside of this mini mall, and it was an
Oh.
upscale mini mall. Like it was really nice, like where they have like higher end brands, but they had a Razer
Hmm.
store. It was so cool, like stuff in there that I've never seen before, and that you only seen online. Not only did they have their backpacks and pillows and all that kind of stuff, and it was all black. The whole store was black except everything like glowed that green color.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was
They've
very,
got a signature about them. Yeah.
it was really cool. And but their display for their laptops and stuff was so cool. You can just get on any laptop and play a game, and they had all the games queued up for you. So it was almost like a little mini arcade. And then they had a Razer branded external video card, which was really cool. I read about them, I knew, but it basically is a box, and if you wanted to have better graphics on your Razer laptop, it's just one USB-C cable, plugged it in. And what happened was it detected it as a video card, and it would offload all the graphics to that video card. And
Oh,
so
man.
you could have like desktop quality. and it drained your battery less because it had a separate
Yeah.
power supply. So like it was a cool display. It was a neat place. So I think they're hard to find, but if you ever get a chance and you're just out and about and you're traveling and you happen to see a Razer store, even if you're not into technology, it's fun to walk through because they have
Yeah.
very unique, it's almost like an Apple store experience, but it's very specific to Razer products. So that was my only little thing that I would say there that
No, I
I wanted
like
to
it.
add.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of skins they release in the future.
Yep, definitely. All right. Do you want me to take the next one here?
Yeah. Or here, I'll go with the next one. I've been talking about the Pixel Fold.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a side discussion here, but to get started, AT&T is giving you a deal if you do a 3-year or 36-month contract. Hopefully, my math is right. For signing up for the Pixel Fold, so it cuts your price from 1880 to 980. That's really in my price range. I paid about 800 for
Yep.
my Pixel 6 Pro a year, 2 years ago.
Hmm.
So it's right in line with a top tier phone. But here's my side discussion is, are contracts worth it? Do you want to be locked in to a cell phone account? And plus now you have a monthly payment with bill credits. So you're still paying for it, but you're getting the credit.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
So first of all, we talked about this and we were talking about how expensive the Fold was. I know you've been jonesing for it for a while now.
Oh yeah.
Where I will give the carriers credit is that this makes it attainable. I'm sorry. 1880 for a phone is just, I don't agree
I
with it.
can't do it.
And I'm a
Yeah.
huge like tech guy and I love the latest thing, but I comparatively what I could buy in technology
Yes.
for that amount of money, the type of television you could get. I mean, you could get you could get up there like with
Oh yeah.
beyond 8K in some situations, they're
Yeah.
because televisions are cheap now, but even like a laptop or a gaming PC. I mean,
Oh
what
yeah.
you could get for 1880 and what its capabilities and what it can do are just far beyond this. So I don't think it's right. However, I will give the carriers trying to make it attainable. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Good on them. As far as installment plans, I've used them. I kind of have to just because I've had kids and they have to
Yep.
usually have phones, and with the family plans and that sort of thing, it makes it attainable. Where I'm comfortable with the installment plans is that, and I think it'll be the same for this. They're typically 0% financing. Where I would not agree with it is if they did something like charged you any percentage of interest. The
Yeah.
devices are already so much money. And the advantage to the carriers is they get a guaranteed additional income. And, the carriers are not dropping that amount of money on these phones. They're getting it for a minimum of half.
Oh, they have
Yeah,
to be. Yeah.
exactly. And so, it gives them a guaranteed income. The percentage is low and it makes it attainable. So I'm all for it. I'm glad specifically that AT&T did this because this phone particularly is just stupid. And Apple's gonna see this and be like, "Oh, well, we can charge that now too." And
Yeah. Hmm.
so
Absolutely.
that's my take on it. I'm okay with it. I get it. I think it makes it attainable as long as they keep it 0% financing. I think it's good. Now, I'm not sure. I'm getting close to the end of payment on my phone, and usually I'm like ready to upgrade right away. So I'm always in an installment. But
Hmm.
right now, none of the phones. Now, watch Apple come out with something like in the fall or something. But right now, none of the
Yeah.
phones are that big of a jump for me. So I'm just kind of sitting and waiting. But I think when I get out of my installment plan, then obviously that money's not being deducted anymore. And
No.
so, that'll be nice, right? An extra
Yep.
20 or $30. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. I've used Best Buy, not kind of repping them or giving them a shout out, but Best Buy, I put it on 0% interest, paid off 12 months. That's kind of what I do. Plus, you get some Best Buy credit points, buy some more stuff. They always get you both ways. But um, locking into a contract, my thoughts are AT&T seems to be one of the best
For our
signal
area,
wise.
if you go
Yeah.
up, yeah, if you go up north where we are, we're in the central United States. You go up north, a family up there. Oh, U.S. Cellular rules up there,
Hmm.
and it's spotty with AT&T up there. But you go south to other areas, it's kind of the same way. Verizon's really
Yeah.
strong, and I personally think Verizon's a little stronger south of where
Okay.
we live, it's different for your region. But
Yeah.
don't be joked by it though, because they're all using each other's cell towers too. So it's
Oh,
slowly getting
yeah.
they kind of have to band together, especially with 5G, because not one carrier can really have the market. So it just gets so expensive for 5G, the equipment they need. So they're starting to share a little better the air, tower space and that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
it's
that's kind of
expanding.
my 2 thoughts on contracts and then that phone being lowered.
Well,
I
are
think,
you going to get this phone now though? Once you see this, when you
yeah,
upgrade,
it's
because
tempting.
you've been saying the next Google Pixel, not the Fold,
It
right? What
yeah.
is that one?
It should be the Pixel 8, and
8.
they
Yeah.
usually release it, in October.
And you were saying that when you saw this price, you may, when it's time
Yeah,
for you, not right away, but when it's time for you, may go to that one. Does this change your mind at all? Because you were interested in the
it
Fold.
might. So, I don't know if it'll lower with the release of the Pixel 8, but if it lowers, that's even more reason to go to it. So,
Yeah.
that's
The-
kinda what I'm waiting on now.
with it being a new form factor, I see them keeping it at that for a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. It's an interesting. We talked about that happening. So all right.
Alright, I've been hogging the space here, I'll
No,
let you go.
I have been jumping in there just the same.
Nah.
It's a tag team, right? See that whole pro
Yeah.
wrestling theme there coming back. All right. So our last one on the list here is Bethesda, who we talked at length. They had a showcase with Microsoft. They're owned by Microsoft. Is partnering with Lucasfilms to make a new Indiana Jones game. It will be exclusive to Xbox, of course, because, well, they're a Microsoft company. It'll be Xbox and PC. Not much is known about it. Now, why this is a big deal is because really there haven't been a lot of Indiana Jones games in recent history. There are some duds in the lineup, some that like tried to
Yeah.
be like a game called Tomb Raider and they just didn't do very well. But then there are some amazing ones from back in the 90s that were pixel point and click adventure games. My brother and I are recently talking about these. Some called Fate of Atlantis, and even The Last Crusade, the movie. They adapted it
Mhm.
to it, and it's just an amazing game. So there are some really good ones in its line. So it's kind of neat that they're doing this. Probably because they're hoping that there will be new interest in the Indiana Jones movie is coming out very, very soon. I think at the very end of July. Sorry, at the very end of June, just in time for the 4th of July holiday, which I know we'll talk about on the podcast if we get a chance. So they're probably trying to capitalize on that. I'm sure the game's been in development, early on, so it's probably further along than what they're letting on. But it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it because
Yeah.
I love Indiana Jones. It's a lot of younger people may not, just because they don't have the nostalgia bit that we do tied to those films, but it's a really cool character, really cool story, and I'm glad they're doing it. So, do you ever play any of those Indiana Jones games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm maybe showing my age, but the one I've played is the Lego edition
Oh,
ones.
it's
They were
so
cool.
good. Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
one. Oh yeah, all those
It
Lego
seemed
ones are
that
good.
yes, that's just what I was gonna say. Lego's editions of Star Wars and all
Oh,
the
so good.
Marvels, and they did so good. Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh, those are great, and they're fun to play with people, like co-op.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those are great games. So
Shout out to the new movie. It looks like it comes out next week. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny for everybody out there. So we'll definitely try to have a review and no spoilers. We'll kind of just say good, bad. We're not going to ruin it for you guys.
yeah, we'll do our best. Or if we do get into something, we'll give a spoiler warning. So yeah, I'm hoping we'll be able to see that over the 4th of July holiday. Be doing some traveling, so I probably won't be able to get to see it on its release, unfortunately. But I'm definitely going to pick it up because it
Yep.
does. It looks really, really good. All right,
To
man.
wrap this up
Wrap it up.
real quick, Bethesda's making this. My thoughts are maybe open world. You can span all the movies and get to play the actual scenes from the movies. But kind of an open world Indiana Jones game would be really interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. There's not much out there on it, but we'll see. But
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. All
All
right.
righty. On to our main topic today, huh?
That's right. Main topic. Keeping on the video games. Sorry for those that don't play video games. We try to
Oh,
diversify our
darn
topics
it.
list. I know. But there is an event yearly that's called the Steam Summer Sale. And it is essentially where all of the computer games within the Steam platform. Now, Steam, you buy games from this platform for your PC. They dramatically get discounted. And it's been going on for years, and where people honestly wait all year, oftentimes like myself to buy games for their PC, because you're talking 70% off, sometimes 80% off on titles. There will
Mhm.
be a title that will typically all year be marked at, $45. And then
Yeah.
during this window, it'll drop to $11. And so I'm looking forward to it. Right now, they always leak the dates conveniently because it's become so popular. Think of this as like an Amazon Prime Day. Kind of think of it that way, but it lasts much longer and the discounts are way deeper. But it's from June 29th to July 13th. The sale is a 1 to 2 week seasonal event that Valve, the company that owns Steam, offers throughout the year. The summer sale tends to offer some of the best savings, often including discounts on recent major titles, so even new releases. And so I always look forward to this. I even ask, for Christmas and birthdays. Oftentimes there's things that I don't know what I want. I'll say, just give me a Steam card, socked
Yeah.
away in my account, and I save up for this event. And then what I do throughout the year, I'll go out on Steam as things release, or I'll see like really cool stuff, like game announcements on Twitter, and I'll just add it to my wish list. And
Yeah.
then what's awesome is when the Steam sale starts, I can just click on my wish list inside of Steam, and it shows me all the ones that I wish throughout the year, and it basically tells me which ones are on sale. And that's usually when I buy most of my games. And I have an extra incentive this year because, um, honestly, I don't game on my PC much because between work and podcasting, I'm here. I don't
Mm.
feel like sitting here playing a game. However, with this little bad boy, I'm holding up my Steam
Oh
Deck.
yeah.
I'm able to take games on the go and not feel like I'm chained to my PC. And I have two options on that. If I want the absolute best graphics, I can stream from my computer to the Steam Deck, or if I just want to take it with me on the go and not be in my house, and if it can handle the graphics, if it's Steam compatible or Steam Deck compatible, now I'm buying for that as well. So I have a list. I'm always running a list on that, and I'm looking forward to it. So it's not just buying for my PC anymore. Now it's for these, and with the competitors out there we talked about, like the Asus, ROG, all of those. I think it's going to be even more popular because people are now
Yeah.
buying for PC handhelds. Somebody like you, Doug, who has a laptop, you can go on the go. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're able to do that as well. So anyway, do you take part in the Steam Summer Sale, Doug? Ever? Are you as rabid about it as I am?
Absolutely. I mean, it gets me with the old titles. Everything you said, I agree with. It's a really good deal out there sometimes. Going through my library of games I own now, like Age of Empires, the old Army Men ones. I keep going down the list.
Is that
Company of
is that your wish?
Heroes.
Is that your wish list?
That's what I currently have. So
Oh,
these are games that I've bought for less than $5. Some of them a
oh,
dollar, some of
yeah.
them 99 cents.
It's
It's like
so cool.
it's too hard not to pass up.
Yep.
DuckTales Remastered, I remember playing that on the
Yeah.
DOS way back
Yeah.
when. Yeah.
And then it
So
came out on the Nintendo as well.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a
I
great
had
game.
good memories of that. Going on a tangent of playing on a Tandy that my grandmother got from a Radio Shack
Dude,
way back.
our first computer was given to us by my grandfather because he upgraded, also bought from Radio Shack. It was a Tandy 1000.
Oh,
And
we might have had the same computer. I don't know what model we had.
yeah, mine was probably a little older because
Yeah.
I'm a little older than you, but mine would have been in the 80s. The processor was an 8088, and this bad boy was it was even, I think it was a hand me down even for us. But and
Mm.
this is in the days where processors were like they had 86 after them. There was a 286, 386, 486. We did not get a 386 until much later because computers were expensive. I saw an ad like they were talking about how computers were like $5,000 for
Oh
a
man. Yeah.
486. Now, keep in mind that was top of the line back then. So, but no, it's so cool when they remaster old games like that, and I love it when they put them on Steam, especially because
Absolutely.
I'm with you. In fact, I have on my list there was a DOS game I love called Masters of Orion, and it was an early game as well, and they remastered it. They have it out there, and it's been all year because they remastered it all year. Has been $24.99. And I know that bad boy is going to get down to like $5 to $10. So I'm really excited about it. You keep going down your list, man. What else you got? Real
Yeah.
quick, Age of Empire. Is that what you said? Age of Empires?
Yep. So I've
Is that
got
the
Age of
remastered?
Empires 2 and 3. These are kind
Great
of
game.
the standalone ones. Now I have the remastered on my Microsoft account,
Okay,
like my Xbox account. Yep.
gotcha.
And
That's a
they
great
play
game.
amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's It's a really good game. Dang it! I wish we weren't having this. I need to go add that.
See, I was hoping that you'd say some stuff. I'll add it to my list.
It's going
Going
reverse
down,
already.
I've got the original Fallouts, Fallout Tactics, Fallout 2.
Also good.
Uh, Very good. Mafia 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I say all these games because the sale, I've got them so cheap, like
Yeah.
pennies on the dollar for what they came out for.
I know, but the problem, I use my wife, and I always talk about this. My backlog, my library of Steam games. I always say, like,
Oh, they're
when I retire, that's going to be like my purpose and my goal.
yeah,
It's just to get through my Steam backlog because it just grows and grows. And these are amazing games that were huge on launch,
yeah,
but I just never got around to them. Especially the older you get, and you just get busy, and there's only so much time you have. But the downside is so cheap, but the downside is that it makes your backlog so huge, it's hard to get to all of them.
yep. I agree. There's some games I haven't even touched yet, but it's like I'm gonna play that one day.
Yep.
To finish out my list at the bottom, I've got the Total Wars, Total War Shogun, the first and second one, the Empire, Napoleon, just great games. Yeah.
Yeah. And I found I have really weird, obscure ones on that are like indie games, oftentimes on my list, because for the longest time before I got the handheld Steam Deck, I was just really in this mode of, I want to find obscure and support developers that are trying to develop these things on their own.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I do. I'm gonna go through my list here, just a few of them.
Yeah.
Um, you
I'm
know,
ready to add them to my wish list here.
okay, so if you ever haven't played Planet Zoo, uh,
Mm,
it's made by the same people that made Elite Dangerous, but it's basically you build a zoo and it's chill, relaxed, but it's fun. It's already discounted right now for $11.24. It's normally $45.
yeah.
And so
The graphics look
yeah, excuse me,
amazing on it. I'm
$15.
looking.
There's a second one too. There's a part two. That's why. Sorry, it's normally $15. I'm thinking of the new one, the part two. Um, I also have on there Weird West, the definitive edition, which is more of an indie game. Right now it's $40. I know it's going to be reduced. Another one is called Song of Iron. It is a Viking game, side scrolling. Looked very, very cool. A remake of a DOS game called Homeworld. It's called Homeworld Remastered Collection. And I'm interested in that one. And it is already, some of these go on sale early. This one, it's typically $35 right now. It is $3.50. I mean, come on. Even if the games are terrible,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong. Masters of Orion, I mentioned that. I have some on here that haven't released yet that, I've been waiting on for a while, so they won't go on sale until they get released. Breath Edge. That's about a guy that's like an astronaut, and it's a first person thing where you have to break stuff down, but he has a pet chicken in space.
Hey,
It's
pet
so
chicken. I
ridiculous.
like that.
I know. I've never played the Plague Tale series. They're supposed to be really, really good, set in during the bubonic plague era,
Hmm.
and you're
Oh,
trying to survive and get through it. That one right now is currently $40, and there's multiples in that. There's not just one. Uh, One called Sable, Sable. It's kind of a cartoony indie game. Total War Three Kingdoms. Now that is an awesome game, in the fact that the Total War series, um, it's essentially you can build all these units. Like you can have tons of them on your screen, and you just let them
mhm.
go, and they're like trying to barricade, take down castle walls. And they have in different eras. They have Japanese era, they have medieval times, and sometimes they're remastering those. And so I have that on my list. This one is the latest one, and it looks so good. And it'll tax your PC because
Yeah.
it gets so many units on the screen all at
Yeah. The
once.
more units you get, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they partnered with Warhammer.
They did.
Warhammer is a separate
Yep.
franchise, but they partnered with them as well.
They did, and there's so many of them in the series, but they're very, very good, and I've always
Yeah.
wanted to get into them. Let's see here. This is funny. This is a pixel indie game called Death Trash. I'm wanting to get that. Oh, this next one. Oh, I cannot wait to buy this one. Prodeus. This just came out this year, and it is a throwback to Doom. Um, and it looks so good. It's got like very pixelated graphics, but it's modern, where you can look up and down. But Proteus, and I'll try to put up some footage of it. It's super gory. It's just a throwback to Doom, but it would be like if Doom was made today. and it looks so good. Right now it's $25, which still ain't bad, but I know that bad boy's gonna go down really low.
Yeah.
Another game I have, you see, Doug, I shop all year, so that's why my list is so long. I'm sorry.
See, I've been adding stuff. This is not good for me.
Another one is it's an indie game. It's called Unpacking, and it's got massive reviews. It's so simple. You basically have like a house and it's very cartoony Sim, like old school Sims 1
Oh,
style, isometric. But basically, your job is you have to pack everything in the house and get it loaded onto your U-Haul in a certain set of time. It's supposed to be a chill game, and it's supposed to be
yeah.
a blast to play. And you got to be careful the way you stack the boxes, and I don't know, it's such a silly game. Another one I have on here is King Arthur Knight's Tale. That one looks very Boldar's Gate, maybe top down. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. I don't know. It looks like an RPG, like an action RPG. It just caught my
Yeah.
eye. Don't know why. Another
Awesome.
one I have, Wig Mund, Wigmund. It is also a top down. Looks like an RPG. It's very colorful. I mentioned I have the Plague Tale Requiem, which is part 2 to the one I mentioned. I do have Microsoft Flight Simulator on there, but now that there's a new one coming out, maybe I'll wait.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Microsoft Flight Simulator, probably because it's made by Microsoft, it's at $60 solid. It may go down to like $48. It never drops much, and because that's been out
No,
for quite a while.
it's pretty popular. Yeah.
It is. I've got another one called Slipways, Slipways. It's a space game where you have to connect these gates and do trade routes. It looks awesome. I'm almost to the bottom of my list, I promise, Doug. And then
Oh
I have
no,
another
you're
one
good.
called
I'm adding stuff. Yeah.
another one called Dorfromantic. Dorfromantic. And it's almost like looks like the Netherlands style, but it's like hexagons. It looks like Settlers of Catan. And you essentially have to build out these tiles out with the right resources like Settlers of Catan, but you're building the map
Hmm.
outward and
Oh,
you
I
get so
love
many
that game
points
too.
for
By
it.
the way.
So yeah, this one looks really good. Another old school. This one is very DOS like as well, but it's a remake made today. It almost feels like the original Elder Scrolls, like Daggerfall, but it's called Delusion, and it has this old like we're talking maybe the Unreal Engine 1 style to it, but it looked really really good. It's an RPG. I have 2 left. I have another one called, the other one I'm not going to mention because, well, it hasn't come out yet. Terra Nil. And the idea is that the earth is all like jacked up and you have to terraform and put in like windmills and all kinds of stuff to
Oh,
re-establish the landscape. And it's gotten pretty good reviews. So the other one on my list, like I have some that I have that aren't out yet. Like one's called Wizardom. That was the one I was going to mention. It's also very pixel like Doom, style, but in an RPG open world, but it's not out yet. So so I try to skip the ones that aren't out yet, but those are the major ones on my list. Believe it or not, there are others at the top that I did not mention, but I've been droning on for a while now. As you can see, I'm excited. I always have a long list.
absolutely. Yeah, I like it. I'll go through my list. I've added a bunch now that you said that, but I didn't have too many on there.
I shop throughout the
You
year though,
know,
man. I
yeah.
like all year long when I go out to, the featured section, I'm always adding things. Or if I see an actual, like something on Twitter, like I follow a lot of developers and I like it, I'll click it and I'll go to it.
Oh,
There's one cool one that I just actually saw. I shouldn't have gone out here. It's called Battle Bit Remastered.
I saw
And
that too the other day.
it looks really cool. It's like chill graphics. It's not like super hyper realistic,
I,
but it looks like Battlefield.
I think they said 256 real
Yeah,
players
and
in the match.
they look like Lego figs. That's what the characters kind of look like.
But I've seen the reviews. People are loving it.
Yeah, I think I'm right now live. I'm adding it to the wish
Yeah.
list. It's just
Yep.
been added. See, it's that easy. One click.
And that's what I was just going to say. That's on the top of my list. So I'm glad you said that.
Did you add that? Well, we're gonna be able to play together. That's good.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
such good
going
stuff
up.
out there.
Yeah. Going up and down my list. I kind of got some type A or whatever I'm saying, that top
Triple A.
tier games.
Triple A.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Triple A. There we go. I use the right terminology here. But I got Oregon Trail. They released it back in November last year. It looks really exciting. Jackbox party games. Now, have you played any of those?
Love them. As a family, we play them. I have
Mhm.
most of them on my Switch, it's because it's pretty portable and easy to throw up on a
Yeah.
TV. But great family
Yeah.
games.
So for people who don't know, Jackbox party games, they're up to pack 8 now, I believe. maybe Pac-9, but it displays on your TV or your computer, and then everybody in your house can get on the Wi-Fi with their cell phones, and it's a interactive game. It's really, really fun.
Definitely.
Going down the list, I think you have this and told me about it, Stray,
Oh, it's so
where you
good.
play as a cat.
Yep, I have that for PlayStation 5. It's a part of my subscription for PlayStation 5, and it is so good. I actually played it and beat it. Highly recommend it. Great story,
Yeah,
beautiful graphics. It's such a great game. Oh, definitely get it. Oh, so
yep.
good.
Now, I've got a goofy one on here called My Friend Pedro. Have you heard about this one?
I have it on my Switch, and it is so good too. So
Yeah.
good.
So
Um,
it's kind of bullet time for those who
mhm.
remember the Max Payne days of the PlayStation and Xbox, I believe.
Yep.
But the picture is a banana, blood, bullets, bananas.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
It's a great game. And there's another one that kind of got me into that called We're No Heroes, and it's a pixel, but it's
Hmm.
very also
Yeah.
the same way. Um, I got to ask you because I know you're in it. This is one of your all-time favorite
Uh-oh.
games. I'm out here looking at it right now. It's $40, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a bundle with all the add-ons. Are you going to go for Fallout 76?
Yes. Yeah.
I
So
knew
I
it.
actually have it on my Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, okay,
And I've been enjoying it, but I don't think it's the same
it's not.
as Fallout 4. No,
Oh no, no,
it
it's not.
doesn't have the same feel. The graphics are amazing because
Mhm.
it's got a lot of the stim packs and searching for everything, but there's just something there with the multiplayer aspect that it's not the same. I'm in a nuclear world
Gotcha.
by
I think it's
myself.
the scripted events that they do on the single player games that make it so good. With this, I don't think it's as scripted. You have missions, but you're I don't know. Early on the game got a bad rap because you would walk outside and somebody would just kill you immediately.
Oh yeah,
And so
yeah,
but it's gotten better from what I hear. I haven't played it myself, but I think this is a game that is best played with a group of friends so you can build a base and do that kind of stuff. So this is good if you have people with you, from
yeah.
what I understand. But I just know you're a huge Fallout fan, so I was just kind of
Oh, I
curious
am.
about that.
I've only got about 10, 15 minutes into 76. I need to give it a little more time. So,
Yeah, there's another one on my list that it's called Dredge, DREDGE, and it looks interesting. You are a fisherman in a boat, looks very cartoony. But the twist is, you go out and not only you're fishing and trying to bring stuff back to the village, but there are like monsters in the sea too. You have to be careful. Like we're talking massive squids and things like that. It says a single player fishing adventure with a sinister undercurrent. Sell and catch and upgrade your boat and dredge the deeps of the ocean for long buried secrets. And it's gotten really, really overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. And so that's one I'm definitely adding to my list
oh,
as well.
it looks great. Yeah. Well, that about wraps up my list. Some of the big titles, Starfield's on there. I'm just waiting to get it with a paycheck or something. Last of Us Part One. It had some bugs we talked about. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of waiting for those bugs to get out, and then definitely going to get that.
Yeah, the PC
I've
had
never
some
played The
bugs.
Last of Us, and I'm very
So good.
excited to get into that.
Yeah, that's a must. Once they get the bugs
So that
ironed out.
wraps up my list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good list. You did a good job, man. I mean, my
Um,
problem is I'm probably
I've added
gonna.
a lot. I appreciate you telling me yours. So I've got a lot
Oh,
of yours on here now.
well,
So
I'll tell you what. There's still.
it's going to be dangerous.
Well, now I'm already like out here. You got me addicted. I'm already flipping through here, thinking, oh, I need to add this, and the problem is, of course, what I build up throughout the year. I never
Yeah.
really ever have enough to cover, so But things are cheaper, so a shout out to Everspace too. I want to get that one as well. That's on
Yeah.
my list. I kind of skip, so I could just click out here forever, But it's funny. I keep
Oh,
buying
yeah.
these games, but I just don't have time to play them. So it's like we talk about people do game collecting, like Brian and Kevin, but they do physical copies. Me, I collect the digital ones because they don't take up
Yeah.
space.
No, not at all. So
They're not
yeah, if
worth
you're
much.
listening to, yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Listening to us, watching us, tell us what you've got on your Steam
Yep.
list. Tell us what you're excited for. We definitely want to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a good topic. It's coming down the way. Like I said, it's going to be June 29th through to July 13th. I'm sorry, I had to
Mhm.
reference the dates here, which is right over usually the 4th of July holiday weekend. And so it's fun. If you want to pick up some games really, really cheap, or someone in your life that you know likes to do games, this is the time to buy them, especially with the PC. Uh, with portable handheld games, like I said, I have a new reason to buy, like that Unpacking game, for example. I like chill games that I can just do on the go. So I'm now buying not just for my PC, but also for this device as well for when I travel. So yeah, man, it's really awesome. So I think that wraps us to the end of our episode. Very, very game
Yeah,
heavy. We apologize for that for those of you that are non-gamers, but we appreciate you listening nonetheless. So Doug, do you want to
absolutely.
bring us on home? Let's do the reminders of where we are, merch, all that fun stuff, my friend.
Oh yeah, 21 episodes. We're having really good conversations. We're getting some feedback through our audio only and our video aspects.
Yep,
I
I love
really
it.
appreciate that. That helps us be better for you guys, be a little more entertaining. Definitely check out our merch. We got a couple bills to pay. Keep us going, pushing out to all these formats. Awesome shirts. Like Keith said, the quality is amazing. I've been eyeing this baseball tee. I'm getting ready to pull the trigger on that, so help us out.
Oh yeah, I go out there too every so often. It's cool. It's a neat logo. It's fun. We got some cool stuff. So definitely go out there and check out the merch store. It's fun. It's really neat. And so and I don't honestly our partnership that we have with how we set it up, the pricing isn't too bad on them either. I don't think.
No, I
So
don't think so at
but
all.
yes, it definitely helps us keep this thing going. If you're enjoying the content, this is our way of being able to do this effectively. Outside of having sponsors, we don't have sponsorships. And the beauty of that is we
Yeah,
can talk freely. Maybe someday we can have sponsorships to
yeah.
kind of help. In the meantime, it's the merch. So, well, yeah, but
Oh
we
yeah,
appreciate it. So, everybody, have an awesome time
yeah,
this coming week. And we will be talking very, very soon. When it comes to the next broadcast, Doug and I will have to work it out just because, we have a holiday coming. We have a July 4th, depending on when you're listening to this. And we will work around it and make sure that we get something out there. And we may even do some flash light episodes. I know, Doug, you and I were talking about warp
yeah,
episodes, we will call them, where they will just be quick bites, mainly because, we have vacations and work schedules that keep flipping. So we may have to do that for moments where we can't do a full recording. So we will let you know inside the show notes and let you know whether or not it's one of the warp episodes or not. But those may be coming down the way as well as we head into July. So we want to thank everybody for listening. Doug, say your goodbyes.
All right. Hey, goodbye. Appreciate y'all listening. Thanks for the support.
All right, everybody, take care.